welcome to another episode of the Pain to Power podcast. This is your host, Justin Banks, and I'm geeked to talk about this episode today. I have been feeling free in a few ways. I've been trying to do things that I've never done before in this one life that I have. I'm trying to face my fears and actually defeat my fears. I want to break the chains that fear can have on me in a bunch of different ways. Now, there are some ways that I've tried to do this, but specifically for this episode, we're going to talk about fasting and how I have used fasting to try to face my fears. More specifically, we're going to talk about the 36-hour fast that I went through and everything that I learned and experienced from it. This is an experience that I was not prepared for. 36 hours of fasting means there will be 36 hours of learning, 36 hours of starving, 36 hours of my mind, my body, and my spirit going through an experience it never has been in before. And as I reflect on this, I realize that this has been in the making for years, but it took time, education, and understanding to truly create the desire to undergo this experience. Now, this is not a PSA encouraging everyone to fast, especially the way in which I did it. But I know that the solutions to our problems may vary. Most of us are searching for a sense of freedom and peace to the problems we face each day, whether these problems be on the inside or the outside. My 36-hour fast was a quest for that freedom and that peace. It was a search of understanding from God. This is an attempt to see how my mind would react to this new experience. What would my body feel? And would there be any lessons that would come out of it? Well, let's talk about it. As I'm sure most of you know, fasting means to abstain from something. It means that we're going to restrain ourselves from doing a certain thing. This includes eating or drinking or possibly restraining ourselves from a particular activity. We hear about restraining or abstaining the most during Lent, the Christian observance commemorating the 40 days and 40 nights that Jesus spent in the wilderness being tempted by Satan. We commemorate by deciding to fast from something ourselves, to fast from something that may be tempting. Older generations generally would fast from food or maybe a certain type of food. My generation typically decides to fast from social media quite often, generally to try to prevent distractions and keep us productive. That's certainly a key word here in this episode. Aren't we all just so distracted today? Distracted by our families or our jobs, distracted by friendships and relationships, distracted by the roles we may play in some of these friendships and relationships. Growing up, I would vaguely hear about fasting, but not pay too much attention to it. I always heard people talk about fasting from something in order to focus or to stop procrastinating or to set certain goals and actually achieve them this time around. I have to be honest though and say that I didn't really take the idea of fasting that serious. I didn't take it serious because I didn't understand why people would fast from something and then just go back to the same behavior all over again. Limiting soda and then binging it afterwards doesn't seem like it does much benefit. No alcohol and then having a bunch of fifths to celebrate the next month didn't seem like much of a benefit to me. I always saw fasting as a lot of people abstaining from something and then celebrate what they were abstaining from by doing the same behavior, and then they would do it in way more excess. And to that, I would just say, I'm cool. But this also showed my lack of understanding. At least these people that I was judging were at least putting in some effort to show willpower, even if it was for a short period of time. There were moments in my life where there wasn't any restraints. I drank my Jack and Coke, I stayed on Instagram, and I ate my cookies. I did what I wanted to do while also being unfocused, while also being really anxious, and also being really lost in regards to my life. I was a man lacking discipline, in some ways lacking willpower, and that can be just so dangerous. Not being able to say no to yourself and your desires. Many of the things that are difficult to say no to are usually the things that don't do us any good. Think about that. Too much social media, too much of the wrong food, too much of the wrong people. These things are always around and always in excess. You don't have to do much work to find them, and they can often be addicting. And oftentimes, these things keep us away from purpose, and it can distract us from the journey of manifesting our happiness and our peace. I discussed previously in this season that distractions generally provide a quick fix of comfort. But over time, the comfort becomes our normal, and we never grow because we don't experience the things that makes us uncomfortable. Things that shock us, hurt us, make us think, make us look for help or resources, which inevitably makes us grow. Stagnation is the offspring of our distractions. We rarely go further or up. Stagnation is a fear of mine. I've always been trying to grow with a lot of mistakes along the way, but also with a lot of growth that I am proud of. Fasting has been another journey of finding more growth within myself. So I started to gain more understanding when learning about fasting actually in the fitness world. To answer the question for some that are listening, yes, fasting, specifically intermittent fasting, can be very effective for specific goals, especially weight loss. By limiting carbs and restricting the times in which we eat, the body goes to the fat storages within and use it for energy since there isn't any glucose available. This can certainly lead to weight loss, and studies show that this can improve overall health. Intermittent fasting may not be for everyone, though. This can vary based on lifestyle as well as sustainability. If you participate in intermittent fasting and then you fall off and begin to eat as you used to, the weight gain can pile up so fast, which can also be harmful for the body. Also, do you really understand what you're doing? You are fasting, not starving yourself. We have this misconception that I just won't eat and then I'll lose weight. You may lose some weight, but you also will lose muscle mass, which can lead to the flabby skin and not the toned up look that many say they are after. Also, starving yourself and not giving your body the necessary nutrients to function is also dangerous and life threatening. We must shift the focus into what your body needs to be well, not just being devoid of fat. We're trying to function. Now, I could certainly go on, and this may need to be an episode of its own in terms of diet do's and don'ts, but I recommend doing your own research and talking to professionals to have a plan that fits for you. Now, with all of that being said, I saw people with these great results and started to learn more about fasting and how it is improving people's physical health as well as self esteem, which is great for mental health. Delving deeper in the mental health research, I saw that there were a wide range of results from fasting. As expected, there will definitely be some irritability when beginning to fast. You can't eat, and that can clearly make you upset and frustrated. And this feeling may take some time to overcome. I certainly was quite irritated during my fast, but there are also some positive mental rewards in regards to fasting. Studies show that by accomplishing the goals in regarding fasting can make someone proud and more confident in oneself. Specifically, this confidence comes because they know that they have achieved a new level of self control. If one can have self control with fasting, I can take this newfound strength and willpower into other areas of my life. Who knows what else I can control and restrain myself from? We all want to feel more confident. We all want to believe in ourselves more. We all want to truly have restraint against things that harm us. Having evidence that we've done it before can give us the fuel to believe that we can do it again. For those who have dependencies on things we want to get away from, fasting may be beneficial to truly show you what you can do and show you the strength that is truly on the inside. I would read certain studies and I would think that maybe this can benefit me. I'm always on board with anything that can improve my mental health. And now I'm starting to become a lot more interested in what fasting may be able to do. But although fasting has become more popular amongst the fitness industry, this isn't some new fad or just another trend. Fasting can be traced back through centuries, and this is where the religious piece comes in. I mentioned Lent and the Christian journey of abstaining. Fasting also occurs in the religion of Islam during Ramadan. By fasting, Muslims worship by reading the Quran and engaging in prayer as well as meditation on scripture. Now, what is interesting here is that I seem to know more about the purpose of fasting for Islam than I did for Christianity. I personally am a Christian, but in the beginning of my journey in education, I would really just hear about Lent and think, okay, this is just the time when Christians get on social media. How spiritually ignorant I was, and I knew that there had to be a change. I was too depressed, but yet I was very spiritually hungry, very sad, and sometimes hopeless. Yet still, my spirit yearned for something. There would still be this light that would not stop flickering. There would still be this desire for more. There is a lesson in having that hunger. Despite the circumstances in your life, whether they be good or bad, do not stop searching. Do not stop seeking. Stopping the search will then stop you. Keep going to find the answer that you need in your season and understand the lesson being taught to you to keep you in purpose. God responds to that prayer and intentionality, consistently putting your focus on Him to live your life. My hopelessness and hunger then led to being really interested and now serious about possibly doing a fast. I spoke to some really good people who had fasted before, heard their success stories physically, mentally, and spiritually, and I decided that I was going to do this. My goal was to be made new. Fasting has been mentioned in some studies to actually even help with cell regeneration, which can help defend against chronic illnesses such as cancer. It can help in ways detox the body. And these were things that I was after. Adding in the mental gains that can occur, such as willpower and self esteem, add in the desire to be made new spiritually. And this became something that I was starving for, no pun intended. I was excited to explore this quest for freedom. So, how did it go? Well, this is called the 36-hour fast, but I set a goal for 48. I just couldn't make it that far. First off, this is because I didn't really follow the process of fasting correctly. Generally, it is recommended to ease your way into a fast. Start slowly by eliminating certain foods from your diet over time and then pursue a complete fast. I didn't do that at all. I just decided that I was going to do a 48-hour water fast, which then dropped to 36. And I have to tell you, the lessons I learned during this process are certainly changing me, and I hope in some way that these lessons can be beneficial for you in some way. To start, a few hours in, obviously the hunger began to set in. It was pretty easy at first to just bypass the kitchen and keep moving forward, but then as the hours passed and the day waned, everything looked delicious. The blueberries looked fresher and more blue. The chicken smelled more delectable than usual. My senses were on fire, and my body was working really hard to let me know that we needed food. During these hours of hunger, the first lesson that I actually received was the importance of gratitude. The hungrier I became, the more I saw every type of food that I had in my home and became grateful that I even had access to these kinds of foods. I had some healthy options, a refrigerator filled with quality fruits and vegetables, food that would improve my body and not diminish it. How often do we eat these foods and just take them for granted? There are millions upon millions of people who do not have access to any kind of food. Children are literally starving to death in other countries. Children and families are literally starving here in the US. And when they get food, rarely is it food of sustenance. I was grateful. I was humbled. Thinking about the times I may have complained, realizing the levels to which I have been sustained. Also, during these 36 hours, I was experiencing a level of hunger I have never experienced before. I have had my bouts with poverty, but I have never experienced this form of hunger before, and I was grateful. Some people experience this hunger daily. And how dare I complain in the ways in which I had done before? I may have eaten foods I didn't want to eat. I may have eaten food that generally wasn't too good for my body, but I've always been given the option to survive. And although I have had days where I may have been a little hungry, I've never been as hungry as I was during those 36 hours. So I prayed for those who have not been as fortunate. And although I try to eat pretty healthy, this fast made me acknowledge that food is certainly used by me for comfort. We all have comfort foods or things we go to when we want to feel better. I realized how often I might want to go grab something just because I was bored or was having a bad day. I didn't necessarily need it, nor was I really hungry. I just had access to it and was eating just for pleasure. How privileged I am to do so. From a spiritual perspective, this meant a lot. What do you go to first when you're having a bad day? Is it a food or a drink? Is it smoking or a vape pen? Maybe it's a person or a group of people. They give you your quick fix in the moment, and then you may actually feel worse afterwards. It may be time for you to go to the things that are actually going to make you better as a person. You may need to go to that book you can learn from. You may need to go to the friend that tells you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. Do you pray or do you just worry? Fasting forced me to make critical decisions that would symbolize what I would be doing during my life. I realized how often I may go to things that don't provide any benefit, but was cool with it because it distracted me from doing my responsibilities. It distracted me from doing things I needed to do. It distracted me from the uncomfortable, and that was enough for me. I should have been in my Bible instead of worrying. I should have been praying for understanding instead of complaining about my confusion of my circumstances. Fasting teaches you how you should be focused on God. Fasting teaches you what your mindset should be as you approach everyday life and its challenges. I prayed so much during my time of fasting. Every time I was hungry, I went to my knees and I prayed. Every time I became frustrated, I went to my knees and prayed. I left my problems to the Lord and I had no choice but to give it to Him. If I caved and just decided to eat some food, I was teaching myself to not build my discipline. I wouldn't understand the importance of delaying self gratification. I would have just done what I wanted and then complained to God about why my way wasn't working. God wanted me to talk to Him when I was stressed. God wanted me to talk to Him when I was hungry for knowledge, hungry for understanding and answers. I am a praying man. My relationship wasn't as strong as it could be. I didn't lean on Him enough. I complained to Him and did not pray to Him. Fasting humbles you. Fasting wants you to understand that you must create relationship. There wasn't any opportunity to eat. I was becoming too weak physically to try to find any other distractions like video games or social media. I could only talk to the source about my troubles. I could only talk to the source to thank Him for what He's already done and what He is currently doing. And this is a discipline that must be worked and worked and worked until having a relationship with God becomes normal and common. Talk to God now about everything throughout the day. I don't just designate my time with Him in the mornings because God doesn't just give me grace and mercy in the mornings. He gives me life and saves my life throughout the day. I can't just put God in my schedule. Whenever there is a nuisance or something that may be going wrong, I pray. I thank God, but then I also trust and believe God. That sometimes for me and for a lot of others is the hard part. Trust and faith is a discipline. Believe in your creator to do things for your good, even when you don't understand it and even when you don't see it. I probably wouldn't have had these kind of revelations or thoughts had I not given myself the time to meditate on what I was learning. It is clear that we are so distracted. So many of us cannot focus, think clearly, and stick to anything to completion. The phone has us, the TV has us, the food has us. It's rarely the gym or the book or the healthy foods. I encourage you to make the time necessary to pray, to sit in silence, but to also hear. Listen to your body, listen to your mind and your spirit. Make time to read, but to also make time to comprehend what was read. And specifically for me, and I'm sure a few others, make time to rest. Everything that is of benefit to make us thrive and prosper in this life are often pushed away from us because we are constantly distracted from them. The distractions make us stressed. The distractions make us unhealthy. The distractions make us create fake smiles instead of real ones. The distractions can be threatening to our life. At the end of the day, this is what made me do this fast. I needed time to lean on God. I needed time to be clear headed and realize who Justin really is, not what the distractions try to make Justin out to be. I did this fast to combat my fears and to combat my stressors, and to save my life. Let's face it and let's be real, man. Chronic stress can either kill you or make you want to kill yourself. Neither one of these options is something I want in my future. So I endured and I kept going. And I have to tell you what happened the night of this fast. On this journey of trying to reset and reaffirm myself, it was time to go to sleep. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit nervous. I was so hungry and feeling a bit weak, and I wasn't sure my body was gonna react well during the night. I knew I wasn't gonna really get a great night of sleep, but I also wanted to make sure that I would live to see the next day. Do you ever feel like when you're doing something good, something or someone negative always has to pop up and take your optimism and your peace? It's almost like it pops up to prevent you from thinking that life can be good for you. Too often we fall into believing this negativity or believing our fears that then limit us. I believe that when I was sleeping, my fears, they stepped in and they attacked. But I feel like I was attacked out of panic, a panic that stemmed from my fears, recognizing that this fast was going to provide some revelations. that this fast is going to provide some freedom. I'm not really big on dreams or thinking that dreams have a bunch of meaning. And rarely do I ever remember any dreams that I have. But the ones I do always seem to stick out. They always make sense, which is rare for dreams, and they always seem simple to understand and symbolize. I had at least three very vivid dreams and nightmares. It was like I was being haunted. I had dreams about my anxiety. I had dreams about depression and suicide. I even had sleep paralysis. Anyone ever experienced that scary ordeal? That feeling of being conscious yet unable to move. It can be so frightening, especially when you experience it for the first time. If I ever experience it now, I still try to keep calm in the moment, telling myself what is going on and telling myself that I will be okay. And then I fully wake up and I will be fine. This last time, though, was quite different. While having these dreams and nightmares, I eventually woke up with sleep paralysis, but I felt like the left side of my face was drooping. Obviously, I'm starting to wonder if I'm having a stroke. Still, I'm trying to remain calm and tell myself this is just sleep paralysis and I'll be waking up soon. But it was difficult to believe this when you can't move and you feel like your face is drooping, which is a common stroke symptom. Thankfully, I eventually wake up and feel just fine. And I wake up feeling extreme hunger, of course. I lay on the side of the bed, get some water, and just try to think about what exactly had been happening to me during this night. Think and process rather than panic. It improves decision making, but it also makes your spirit audible. Then you can listen. My younger self would have been quick to believe that something was just wrong with me and that my anxiety and depression were winning this battle once again. I would sweat, my heart would race, and a panic attack would soon begin. After drinking my water, breathing, and thinking, I prayed. I didn't pick up the phone or get something sweet to eat. It was at this moment when I realized that these attacks, they were so afraid of me. This is just like the people that are always negative when it comes to your life. They don't want to believe or support your successes, and they are forever pessimistic about what you may want in your future. So they attacked you in a way to try to make you see the darkness. Mental illness is no different. I was doing something that shocked my anxiety and shocked my depression. I was doing something that would lead me to take some control against my illness. I was abstaining from all of the weapons that are used in mental illness's army. I'm a part of my own army, filled with physical, mental, and spiritual strength, and will forever be reloading with ammunition to fight battle after battle because I'm king. So being in this state where I feel awake and like I was having some form of stroke is not surprising now. I always feared that my stress levels would cause something like this to happen to me. But I rebuked this attack and chose my truth, affirming who I am and who I will become, affirming that I can shift my mindset to overcome fear and chronic stress. Now, I'm no different than you. I know that you have fears. I know that these fears may attack you from time to time, or day to day, or hour by hour. The fears are afraid of you. I'm careful to say that they are afraid of your potential, quote unquote, because sometimes we hear potential and believe that this truth is something that is far away or in the hereafter. The potential is within you right now. That's why you're being attacked right now. It wants to keep you from working to obtain the keys that will unlock what is already within you. And its potential is not always some job or some financial gain, but is unlocking the ability to love yourself. It is unlocking the ability to believe you are able to handle the trials and tribulations that are sent your way. It is the ability to differentiate punishments from lessons. That everything that may make you upset isn't an attack, but something to learn from and be better. And for my spiritual folks, fear is afraid that you will undoubtedly believe that God is with you through every experience that you go through. You believe that God will make you prosper, God will help you fulfill purpose, God will flow through your spirit to help others in this world and make it a better place, not just live this life of darkness. So just by abstaining from food for 36 hours, I understood what having discipline can unlock. I understood that by fasting, I was also abstaining from many of the things that block the sun that is trying to shine on me. I would like to close here by providing two scriptures to meditate on through the day. A popular scripture is Second Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. But God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. Power comes from love, and you can show that you love yourself by having self-control, also known as discipline. And lastly, Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11. For the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant, but it later yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those that have been trained by it. You become a better person when you train yourself and build your discipline. It's going to suck, because it sucks for me right now. But best believe your fruit is growing and you will soon reap a harvest because you will be deserving of it. For those who have listened to these episodes before, you already know how vulnerable I can be. But I do it because there are people that think that their problems are only unique to them and all hope is lost. It's going to take some soul searching and some tears and work to find prosperity. But I tell you stories of my life to let you know that I've been there and I've also had wins in my darkest moments. And I wouldn't change a thing because I believe that I am powerful beyond measure, and this power comes from an eternal source. So, as I ask you to be powerful today, I am asking you to unlock what is within and believe that you are the overcomer and not the victim, the one who learns and doesn't complain, the one who faces the fear rather than run from it. It is one day at a time, but it feels good when you're able to win one day at a time. I hope that this was helpful for you as you may be considering your fasting journey, whether it be for the physical, the mental, spiritual, or all of the above. You got this. Now be powerful.